Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Now that we actually have access to the raw data here in Warzone 2, we're gaining a lot more information on which weapons truly are conquering others in terms of certain stats. What I want to focus on here today is TTK within the rifles and focus on the top 5 fastest killing rifles we currently have in Warzone 2. So that starts us off here on sim.gg. That's the website where you can actually look at all of this, and we've gone ahead and changed the health to 250, which of course is going to be the Warzone health, and I have a handful of rifles here. So we're looking at things like the Kastov, the M13, the TAC 56, the M4, the Lachmann, the Kastov 545. I had the Chimera here, but it's more for close range. Same deal why you don't see the Kastov 74U on here. The M16 was left off for obvious reasons, so we don't need to get into that, but I wanted to sit here and look at these TTKs and figure out, what's the order here? Is there a particular order? Because as you can clearly tell here, mid-range, everything is very, very competitive. It's a lot of flip-flops here and there as you go over range and get to new, distances. Certain weapons start to take over, which is really, really interesting here. So a couple of standouts here initially. I mean, the Kastov 762, our orange line, is just clear the go-to for long range, right? Like, this thing is just wild up close. If I go ahead and I zoom in a little bit more, you guys can see if I drag this over, I mean, it's just so much faster than everything else, right? You also have other guns, though, that are surprising. The M13B over long range actually has the second fastest TTK, which I did not see coming whatsoever. The TAC 56 is still up there in terms of one of the faster TTKs, our purple line here, but it's not nearly as fast as you might think it is for being like the number 2 rifle in the game. And that's primarily because its recoil is so easy compared to several of these options that, yes, while it doesn't have the fastest, on chart TTK or on paper TTK, in practice and realistically, it's one of the best because it's just so easy to use and is so accurate. But we end up getting a pretty distinct list here. The Kastov 545 ends up dropping off here. It just doesn't seem like it's anything crazy in any of those given ranges there. And we've got 5 weapons here that all have very competitive TTKs between the Kastov, the M13, the TAC 56, the M4, and the Lachmann. So now we can go through and actually break down the best setups and all the best tuning for the weapons, the rifles here that have the fastest TTK out of the entire categories. So the TAC 56, as we saw, was nothing incredible. It didn't stand out a ton, but its accuracy helps there. On paper, this thing has an 847 millisecond TTK at 44 meters, which is pretty impressive for this game. Then you factor in how easy it is to use and where you'll miss shots with this gun versus others, and it's one of the best choices in the game, obviously. So this is the setup that I've been running lately that, of course, we've talked about. And I mean, this thing is perfect for that mid-range area, 40 meters, 50 meters, where this thing's really going to thrive. It's an iron sight build, super low recoil. I love the way it feels. So we got the combat grip on here. This is tuned for slightly better stability and steadiness on top of the better control that you're already getting. So you'll love to see that. 40 round mag, just your basic extended mag. High velocity rounds to help with that hit reg, make it feel maybe a little bit more consistent here and there. We tune for the better velocity and the better damage range on there. Ripper underbarrel, you'll see this pretty much on every single build here today. It's my favorite underbarrel. It works well with the stabilization, gonna make your gun feel a lot more consistent in terms of recoil, and we tune this for better stability and better stabilization per usual. Then I also got the Harbinger 20 suppressor on there. This is for better range, better velocity, and I go ahead and I tune this for that slightly faster ADS, then also better velocity as well. So this thing is going to be perfect for some mid-range, even some long range if you can actually spot enemies and stay on target. It's very versatile in that sense and one of my favorite setups right now. Now the M4, looking at a 782 millisecond TTK at 45 meters, so a bit faster than the TAC 56. Now this, keep in mind, is maybe a little bit more bouncy in certain situations. It's going to behave a little bit differently than the TAC 56, so every weapon here has got its individuality and its uniqueness, right, for sure. But the M4 is certainly a very reliable choice as it stands. So here we got the AMOP V4 optic. You'll see this pretty much on every build here today too. It's my favorite optic. Really clean, very low visual recoil as well. Here we tune for that furthest eye position, the slightly faster ADS as always. That's basically a copy and paste on all the builds, right? 45 round mag, you want to have that here. The fire rate is a little bit faster, so having that extended mag is a nice safety net. We've got the Ripper underbarrel yet again, tuned for the same thing as before, basically better stability, better stabilization on there, just to capitalize on the stabilization you're already getting. Echoless 80 suppressor here, gonna help out that range and that velocity as well. Obviously, all the builds here today are meant for medium to long range as the primary factor in your loadout, so we want to capitalize and emphasize those stats there. We tune this for that better velocity, that slightly faster ADS speed. Then I go for the high tower barrel. This will slow it down quite a bit, but it's also going to make it super accurate. It's also going to give you that better range and velocity as well, which is just nice bonuses too. We're tuning for even better range and even better steadiness as well. So this thing is going to shoot straight, and its TTK clearly speaks for itself. By the way, as we are breaking all this down today, if you are new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So if you want to guarantee you're always up to date, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and if you guys enjoy the video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. Also, quick shout out to my friends over at G Fuel. If you guys are looking to stock up ever, if you want to try a new flavor, get a new shaker cup, anything like that, COD WARZONE always has you covered with 20% off everything on the site by default. Then any new flavors, any new tubs that they drop are always discounted by 30% with my code. So if you guys want to check that out, link will be down in the description below. More of the code gets used, the better the chance of maybe our shaker cup returning, or maybe one day even getting our own flavor. Another gun that I'm pretty surprised to see here is the Lachmann 5.56. I mean, this thing, just like the TAC 56, is nothing crazy in terms of standout TTK. It does have an 823 at 55 meters, which is pretty impressive, but this thing is, again, so easy to use that you're going to land more shots with this consistently versus maybe some other weapons, and in turn you're going to have a much better realistic TTK there too, on top of the on paper stats, which are already very good for this thing. So here it's a pretty basic setup, just like the others. The rifles are all pretty similar here if you're going for the long range build, right? Again, I go for the Schlager 3.4 times in this case. You could also go for AMOT V4 if you wanted to, but this is so low recoil that you can sort of get away with a higher zoom here and it still works fine. But optics is always personal preference. For the eye position, slightly faster ADS per usual. 40 round Cinemag, pretty basic there. Ripper underbarrel yet again with the same tunes for the better stability and the better stabilization per usual. Echoless 80 yet again here as well, and we tune for that faster ADS, the slightly better velocity once more. Then I go for the 15.9 inch barrel. There are, for what it's worth, a lot of decent barrels here. Nova's not bad. There's plenty of options for better range, better velocity, but this one's giving you better control as well. It just feels the most consistent for long range. We tune for that furthest eye position, the better damage range yet again. You're good to go there. This thing, low recoil, and when you are landing those shots, fantastic TTK. Now, definitely the most surprising to me is that the M13 has the second fastest TTK over range. We're looking at an 881 millisecond at 70 meters, which is very impressive. This thing is really not all that great for close range or for mid range. But then you get to long range and it just kind of takes over, which I mean is very unique and also very impressive in and of itself. So this thing is certainly a top tier option for that specific reason. Here again, basic setup. We got the AMOT V4, furthest eye position, faster ADS on those tunes there. 60 round mag here because the fire rate is so fast on this thing that you need the max magazine. It's going to slow it down, but it's going to be well worth it if you're fighting multiple people at once or multiple squads at once, like you often are here in Warzone 2. Ripper underbarrel, better stabilization, better idle stability on these tunes. Yet again, no surprises there. We got the Echoless 80 yet again as well for the better velocity and better ADS speed on these tunes. Then lastly, I go for the Bruin Echelon barrel, which as you can see is for the better range, better velocity, better control. And we're going to tune to maximize that basically. Better range, better steadiness on there as well. So this thing definitely took me by surprise. I knew it was good at long range. I didn't know it was this good at long range. And then no surprise here, the 7.62. We've known this thing has been a top TTK option for a while. I've already talked about this in a separate video before as well, but Kastov 7.62 over long range, we're looking at a 741 millisecond TTK at 70 meters, which is just so much better than everything else. I mean, the thing is unstoppable. Probably due for a nerf. We'll have to wait and see, but this thing is seriously lethal. So AMOT V4 yet again tuned for that furthest eye position in the faster ADS. Rinse and repeat. 40 round mag here is totally sufficient as an extended mag. We got the Ripper underbarrel yet again tuned for the better idle stability and the better recoil stabilization. We got the Kastovia suppressor in this case, which I like because it is still giving you some velocity, not as much as some other suppressors, but this is giving you better control, which other suppressors just don't do. So I really like that. We tune for that better velocity, better ADS speed yet again. Then I go for the 584 barrel. This is better range, velocity, and control per usual. Great for long range, obviously. Tune for the better damage range and the better recoil steadiness. So you're getting everything you need out of this gun. Good control, and it obviously already has the best damage, the best TTK out of all the rifles in the game. That being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you guys are new here, every single day I got you covered with all things between MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. So feel free to subscribe with those noties turned on. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.